Archangel Michael says, "You were never meant to find this out the easy way. Not through gossip. Not through confrontation. But through a whisper, a spiritual whisper that interrupted your daily rhythm with divine urgency." Archangel Michael stands now before you. This message is not random. Heaven selected you. And the time to listen is now. You felt it, haven't you? The slight disturbance in your spirit when your daughter enters the room, a sudden worry that you can't place, or perhaps an odd silence in her eyes when she speaks. These are not coincidences. These are divine signals. Something around her has shifted, and heaven cannot remain silent. In the stillness of the early morning, or in your recent dreams, you may have caught flashes, her walking away from you in fog, her hands trembling, or a deep well of fear that you couldn't explain. Your soul knows something is wrong, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. And now, with power and clarity, Michael brings it forward. A man is making plans that involve your daughter. And this coming Monday is the day he intends to act. He's not random. He's not harmless. He's not invisible to heaven. But his methods are veiled, masked in opportunity, fake kindness, or emotional confusion. He's planted a seed, and he believes Monday is when it will sprout. And your daughter? She senses something too. But here's the twist, she hasn't told you everything. Not because she doesn't trust you, but because she wants to protect you. She's afraid that if you knew, it might burden you, or worse, that you wouldn't believe her. So, she's chosen silence over vulnerability. But that silence ends today. Because heaven has broken the veil. This man's plan, though cloaked in charm and calculation, is seen by the courts of heaven. And you've been chosen, not by chance, but by divine assignment, to intervene. Type Amen 978 to divine to get blessings. Archangel Michael says, "You may feel unequipped. You may even feel fear. But Archangel Michael says, fear is not your portion. Authority is." The Holy Realm saw this moment long ago and knew you'd need angelic reinforcement. This is why you're hearing this now. Your spiritual sensitivity is a weapon. Your maternal heart is a shield. And your voice, your prayers, are going to disrupt something dark before it can reach her. So pause. Breathe. Listen. This week is not like any other. And Monday? It is marked. But not just by the plans of man. It is marked by divine disruption. And you are the one heaven is activating first. He walks in shadows, but he doesn't look like it. To the world, he seems calm, kind, maybe even helpful. He may wear a badge of honor in his profession, a teacher, a counselor, a trusted face in your daughter's environment. Or perhaps he moves through digital spaces, an online contact, someone sliding in under the radar, masking control as connection. But the spirit realm doesn't measure by appearances. Archangel Michael warns you with piercing clarity. He pretends he means well, but the spirit world says otherwise. This man has been observing, studying, not just your daughter but you and the environment she was raised in. He's done his homework. There is an intelligence to his moves, but it is not wisdom, it is manipulation guided by darkness. He's learned what your daughter desires most: validation, purpose, or perhaps escape from pain. And he's crafting an offering that appears to meet it. But in reality, it is a trap. There's something chilling beneath the surface of this man's interest. Michael reveals that his spirit has already been marked by heaven, as someone influenced by spiritual forces that prey on the innocent. This isn't just physical danger. This is spiritual warfare. The offer he plans to make, whether it's a private meeting, a favor, an opportunity, or even a conversation, has a hidden motive. He's hoping to confuse her light, to rewire her perception, to lead her away from the path heaven ordained. Type Amen 678 to divine to get blessings. But here's where the story shifts. You are not powerless. You are a guardian. A watchtower. A voice that breaks cycles. And heaven is giving you the authority to spiritually intercept his plans. There is a divine advantage you have right now, insight before impact. What others find out too late, you are hearing early, so that nothing can prosper against your child. Archangel Michael says, this man has been watching your family's history. Whether consciously or through spiritual draw, he's been pulled toward your daughter because of her lineage, her calling, and what she carries that threatens the forces of darkness. So don't ignore that gut feeling. Don't dismiss the dream. And most importantly, don't underestimate your role. Because when this man makes his move on Monday, thinking your daughter is unguarded, he will meet not just a protective parent, but the full force of divine justice riding with you. Heaven has circled Monday. Not by chance. Not by the ticking of a human calendar. But because the spiritual clock in the heavenly realms has long known this date would be a battlefield. Archangel Michael reveals something astounding. That specific Monday carries an unusual energy surge. A shift. A confrontation. And while it will seem ordinary to most, spiritually, it is anything but. You might already sense it in your bones. Maybe the air around you has felt heavier. Time might feel slower. Dreams may become vivid, even disorienting. That's because the spiritual frequency of this coming Monday has begun to activate, and what's been hidden will no longer stay silent. Type Amen 867 to divine to get blessings. A plan is scheduled to unfold, a trap wrapped in innocence. A casual meetup, a secret proposal, a private talk, or a digital message that could begin a dangerous spiral. But heaven is already on site, preparing for divine interception. Michael says, when heaven marks a moment, angels move before the enemy. Expect the unexpected. This Monday, you may experience delays, disruptions, or sudden intuitive warnings. A car battery that fails. A phone call that seems off. An eerie silence from your daughter, or maybe an outburst. These are not random, they are divine speed bumps, installed by heaven to slow the plans of darkness. Heaven will interrupt the enemy's momentum. But you must be alert, spiritually awake, and fully positioned to stand in your daughter's gap. Fast. Even a partial fast can amplify spiritual clarity. Pray aloud. Your words are weapons. Anoint. Use oil to bless her shoes, her doorpost, her devices, even without her knowing. Protect her space. Play worship, speak life, surround her with divine light. And be ready for resistance. Your daughter may seem irritated by your concern. She may push back. But this isn't rebellion, it's confusion, stirred by invisible tension. Don't argue. Don't panic. Just anchor yourself in love and authority. Because what she doesn't yet see is what you're being shown in this moment. And here's a revelation that will help you hold the line. Your daughter's destiny is so crucial, so anointed, that dark forces decided Monday was the day to distract or derail it. But what they didn't expect was that you'd be warned ahead of time. The truth? She is going to survive this moment. Not only survive, she's going to awaken. But heaven needs you to prepare, to stand, and to speak with angelic boldness. And remember this twist, she doesn't see it as danger yet. She sees it as an option, a possibility, maybe even something exciting or normal. But the angels see the outcome, and they are urgently calling on you to shift it before it even begins. Type Amen 8987 to Divine to get blessings. Archangel Michael says, this moment, this danger, this spiritual ambush, is not brand new. It's ancient. Archangel Michael steps closer and gently unveils the generational truth. This is not the first time a daughter in your bloodline has faced something like this. It's happened before. But it was hidden, buried in silence. You may not know the full story, but somewhere in your lineage, a woman, perhaps your grandmother, or her mother, was wounded, misled, or betrayed in a similar moment. It left a scar. And with that scar came a vow. A spiritual opening that was never healed. That's why this Monday feels heavier than most. It's not just a new attack, it's the reawakening of an old spiritual wound. Heaven is showing you the loop. The curse. The vow of silence. The pattern of spiritual attack that targets daughters in your family at pivotal moments. It has come down the line again, this time to her. But now, you can stop it. Michael gives you specific instructions. Renounce it. Speak out loud, I break every generational curse of betrayal, abuse, or manipulation over the daughters in my bloodline. Revoke the vow. Say, whatever vow of silence was made by my ancestors, I undo it now by the authority of heaven. Release light. Invite the Spirit of Truth to invade every shadow in your lineage. You might feel chills. You might weep. That's the spiritual chains falling off. Type Amen 889 to Divine to get blessings. And here's the twist that will shake you. The man targeting your daughter may be unknowingly driven by the same ancestral spirit that influenced the man who harmed your ancestor. He doesn't know it. But the spirit does. And now it has found its way back to your family, unless you stop it. But take heart. This time, it will not succeed. Why? Because you are not like the generations before you. You have access to revelation, divine weapons, and heavenly backup they never had. And you have already made the first, most powerful move. You are listening to this message. This Monday is a divine showdown between old curses and new covenant. And Archangel Michael says with fire in his voice, this time, the bloodline fights back. Type Amen 878 to Divine to get blessings. Archangel Michael says, because what he's about to reveal is fragile. It's hidden in your daughter's memory, folded into the quiet hours of the night, dismissed as nothing more than a weird dream. But it wasn't a dream. It was a spiritual warning cloaked in symbols and shadows. Michael says, she saw it, but she dismissed it. Recently, maybe days ago, maybe weeks, your daughter had a troubling dream. In it, a man appeared, but his face was blurry, dark, or constantly changing. He may have stood in a hallway, reached toward her from behind a closed door, or offered her something in his hand. She felt fear but couldn't explain why. Maybe voices whispered her name. Maybe a mirror cracked, or the sky turned gray. These weren't just symbols. They were spiritual previews. But here's the truth, she didn't tell you. Not because she doesn't love you. Not even because she thought you wouldn't understand. But because she's afraid that the dream confirms something she's already been feeling, and she doesn't want it to be real. She thinks silence keeps it from coming true. But heaven disagrees. Heaven says silence is the enemy of safety. Michael urges you, create a sacred space where she can speak freely. A place without pressure, without correction. Just listening. It may take patience. She may pause mid-sentence, second-guess herself, or even change the subject. Don't push. Let your presence be the permission she needs. The dream is not just a warning. It is a spiritual map. Once she shares it, you will see what it really means, and how you can pray specifically, canceling what the enemy intended before Monday arrives. Now, here's the twist that might shake something awake in you. You had a similar dream once. Perhaps when you were around her age. You forgot it, or brushed it off, but it's coming back now, isn't it? The blurry man. The voice. The strange light. This isn't coincidence. This is divine pattern recognition. It was a prophetic echo from your past that was never fulfilled, because it was pointing to this exact moment. This connection between your dream and hers is the spiritual confirmation you need. Heaven has been preparing you both for this battle across time. You don't need all the answers. You just need the courage to ask her gently, have you had any strange dreams lately? Then let the river of truth flow. Type Amen 9898 to Divine to get blessings. Because once she tells you, the enemy loses his grip. Before your daughter ever took her first breath, before her eyes ever opened to this world, you were chosen. Chosen by heaven to carry her. Chosen to protect her in more than just the physical sense. You were anointed to be her spiritual shield, an intercessor, a barrier, a divine voice that speaks when she can't, and sees what she's still learning to discern. Archangel Michael says with fire in his tone, the reason this moment reached you is because heaven trusts your authority. This is not just about motherhood or parenthood, it is about divine assignment. Your soul was etched with this mission long before you met her. Your spirit carries a frequency that the enemy fears, because when you rise in spiritual warfare, chains break. Now is the time to activate that calling. Even when she doesn't hear you. Pray over her when she's asleep. Anoint her doorpost with oil or water, declaring divine protection and spiritual clarity. Say her name boldly in prayer and declare. No weapon formed against her shall prosper. No charm, no lie, no seduction, no curse will succeed. She walks in divine light, and I stand in the gap until she sees it herself. Archangel Michael says. Michael reveals that angels are already stationed near her. But they respond more swiftly when your words align with heaven. You are the gatekeeper. The spiritual storm tries to breach the wall, but your voice strengthens the foundation. And here is the divine twist, your daughter's life holds more spiritual weight than you realize. She is being targeted not because she is weak, but because she is dangerous to darkness. Her future influence, whether through words, healing, art, leadership, or unseen gifts, is a threat to everything hell fears. That's why this week matters. The man's plan is not just about her vulnerability, it's about derailing her destiny before she discovers it. But your prayers are already changing the atmosphere. Heaven sees you. Heaven backs you. And the archangels are responding. Type Amen 8776 to Divine to get blessings. The role you play this weekend, your posture, your intercession, your boldness, will shift your daughter's trajectory. Not just for Monday, but for every chapter that follows. You are not alone. You are never fighting by yourself. This part may surprise you. Michael reveals that you're not the only one feeling the stirring. Someone else, someone you may not expect, has been watching things unfold too. And they're about to reach out. It may come through a message, a brief conversation, a suggestion to check on your daughter. It may even seem random. But it's not. This person holds a piece of the puzzle. Perhaps they've seen something, heard something. Maybe they work with your daughter, go to her school, or have seen her interactions with the man in question. They may not even realize the full weight of what they're witnessing, but heaven is nudging them, guiding them to you. The key is discernment. When they speak, listen between the lines. They may hesitate, unsure if they should say more. Or they may mention it casually, afraid of overstepping. Your role is to hear with spiritual ears. Catch the thread, and follow it. Michael says, this contact will give you just enough light to act boldly, but it will require courage to pursue it. Here's where it gets interesting. The person who reaches out might be someone you once distrusted. Someone from your past. A name you haven't spoken in a while. Maybe there was tension, or unfinished history. But now, heaven is using them. Don't get distracted by old wounds. God uses unlikely messengers when the stakes are high. Archangel Michael says, this person may have their own reasons for stepping forward, but heaven is orchestrating their timing. Be ready to receive what they say, even if it's incomplete. Even if it confuses you at first. It's a key. When it happens, pause. Pray. Then act. Because every divine revelation is coming together to expose the hidden thing completely, before it ever touches your daughter. Type Amen 678 to Divine to get blessings. This is the moment the enemy feared. Because while darkness plotted in silence, heaven prepared a reversal. Archangel Michael stands fully armored now, wings extended, sword gleaming, and he makes it clear, this Monday will not end in disaster. It will end in deliverance. Yes, the plan was real. Yes, the trap was being laid. But it's already unraveling. Why? Because you were warned. Because you acted. Because your prayers tore holes in the enemy's veil. Here's what to expect. A delay. Something the man planned will fail to materialize. A shift in your daughter's awareness, perhaps a sudden discomfort or decision to cancel. An opening of her eyes. The spell is breaking. But this isn't just about danger averted. This is about destiny awakened. The very moment that was designed to mark her with trauma, will now mark her with purpose. She will feel it. A lightness. A clarity. A new level of discernment rising within her. And you? You will know that this wasn't just a close call. It was a victory written before time, one that your soul helped bring to pass. Now comes the healing. Cleanse your home. Anoint her space. Pray together, if she's open. Or continue covering her silently if she's not. Thank heaven for the interception. Type Amen 9899 to Divine to get blessings. This battle didn't start this year. It didn't start in her life. It started before you were born. But now, it ends. You just helped break a generational war. And heaven is rejoicing. Your daughter's story is shifting from vulnerability to victory. From secrecy to spiritual sight. From danger to destiny. Because you listened. Because you stood. Because you chose to believe the whisper from heaven over the silence of earth. And now, her path is clear. She is protected. She is awakening. She is rising. And so are you. Type Amen 7887 to Divine to get blessings.